Are we
Hello.
live? We're probably live, yeah. Okay, guys. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining. So today is going to be a session of two Russian-speaking dudes. Pavel is from Ukraine, if I'm not mistaken. I'm originally from Russia as well. So two Russian dudes is going to be speaking English today to each other and to you guys. We're talking about blockchain. So the name of the panel/interview is really the cryptography. And Pavel does have a PhD in cryptography, correct? Pavel, if I'm not mistaken,
Yeah.
right? And I mean, I personally have been following Pavel for quite some time now. The number of LinkedIn posts, there are a bunch of people who just post some garbage on LinkedIn regarding blockchain, but the Pavel's posts, for whatever reason, really resonate. Every time there's lots of useful information on those posts. From 2017, I'm going to present today actually and ask his opinion about what changed. But Pavel, can you just quickly introduce yourself? I know you've done the podcast last week, but just and Nick Spano's birthday.
Yeah.
Nick Spano's birthday is today. Yeah, September. So it's such a coincidence. Yeah, I have some other people whose birthday is also today. So Nick Spanos, congratulations. Stay safe, stay strong. The Blockchain Center. Stay safe, stay strong. Pavel, if you can introduce yourself really quickly.
Yeah, I have an information security background, and that was my area of interest. I became a developer approximately in 2005, and I was quite deeply in mathematics, especially on cryptographic areas of it. And basically, I joined a security company in the beginning, then switched to a normal outsourcing company, then another company, and kind of ended up in being in mobile banking security projects. Then in 2014, went to Silicon Valley, the US for the first time, and kind of joined the blockchain, industry. My first job was in Stellar. Then I got a job in Singapore, and that year was also very turbulent. I met a lot of great people, and they still in the industry, most of them, and co-founded the Distributed Lab. And now we have a certain mission, which is to build financial internet. And we see blockchain and information security and decentralization as like core pieces of it. And we are kind of going and applying these pieces in the commercial projects, getting more pieces, getting more knowledge, taking bigger projects, creating, like these pieces become products. We sell them, we sell customization. Yeah, that's how we move. It's years very soon.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, as I mentioned, right? So the reason why I like your posts on LinkedIn so much, and keep them coming, the more the better. You do have fans, although I don't retweet or like. Trust me, they're super, like really useful. What's really interesting specifically is how you guys are evolving with the token D. I think, right? You wrote also a book translated in 20,000 languages. It's like pretty much in every single language.
Yeah.
Very nice. So how did you evolve? So pretty much, you're talking to clients all the time. You guys building some more and more custom solution. I know that you guys tried to do some educational, with the book, but book was not the only educational material you guys have been doing. You've been like trying to, can you please like walk us through, and you share all this stuff on LinkedIn, which is unheard of, because these are the inside secrets. Like I'm pretty much your competition when it comes down to development, and you sharing those secrets regardless on LinkedIn, which is like, thank you so much. Like, can you share, and I can share what I see from our work with clients, with all kinds of clients, whether it's B2B, like specifically blockchain applications, or more like crypto applications. What has been the progression in the last 3 years? What changed?
I would say it's very simple from one point of view. Imagine that you realize that people need literacy. And if they will be literate, you can, first of all, you can sell a lot of books. You can create educational system. You can create science. You can do religion, whatever. It's a lot of opportunities. But literacy doesn't exist. And now some certain signs of it appear, and everybody who understands that literacy is super important cannot have competitors, technically. Obviously, yeah, there is a competition when we talk about like who will teach a particular person and who will sell the book to them. But the market is super big, and we haven't taken even like a fraction of a percent. So we see the trend that is going on underway. It's like digitization of all assets. It started with the appearance of computers and Windows, internet, but they're still not fully digital because they are not managed via truly digital ways. Like they're not managed via cryptographic keys. Now Bitcoin appeared and showed, okay, well, you can actually manage your financial data through cryptography. You can rely on cryptography. You don't need to rely only on security administrators, on firewalls, on physical security, but you can rely on cryptography. And it makes the system much, much cheaper. And therefore, these assets will be digitized over time. And with digitized assets, you can do many more things like new business models, new companies, a lot of things. And it will be trillions dollar market.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's very, very early days. People are still talking about, oh, how can I install whatever, ERP, or what kind of digital bank should I build, or whatever, which token should I issue? So very basic questions, but they all lead to the question, okay, how do we digitize assets? And as soon as assets are digitized, what do we do with them? So, and actually we try to increase the market because just the existing market for example, tokenization, whatever that means, is very small, existing one. But the market for the whole digital assets in the universe will be huge.
Sky's the limit, of course.
Mm-hmm. Basically, we need to go as fast as possible there. So educating people, and our biggest competitor today is not another blockchain company who realized what needs to be done, or etc. It's first of all, the main competitor is like ignorance. People say, oh, it's just, they don't distinguish between like ICO hype and the real trends behind what's going on.
The technology.
The type of competitor for us is just a developer from existing IT stuff that says, oh, I will build everything myself. It's not so complicated. That's actually, I just got this book today from the printing office. So it has many like modules described, wireframes, schemas. And the idea is that it basically shows how to build such systems. Not super complicated.
So pretty much everything from UI to the backend, right? So the UI is specifically what's done, and then the backend exactly how to approach it, what questions to ask. This you build the architecture. Mm-hmm.
It's like a blueprint of a building. It says where to put the water, ventilation, electricity, which floor to put windows, doors, door locks, etc. It's not a rocket science. And indeed, many people recreated the same stuff like many times, thousands of times. Different teams building all these digital banks and all these loyalty systems and user cabinets. We just want to standardize certain approaches and come up with the modules that, first of all, solve the client task. They need a system, yeah. They don't care whether it's blockchain or not. And second, we try to make it compliant with the principles of information security, cryptography, decentralization, blockchain, and so on and so forth. So we try to fit like two goals. And yeah, indeed, our competitor is a developer who doesn't care about the second goals. It just says, oh, I will build everything myself. And then they fail, obviously,
most of the time.
It's a big project anyway. So this book is a result of the like 30 projects approximately that we've built and helped, and and analyzed more than 500. So this is what we do. We're kind of engineers that use new technology to build more or less the same thing from the first appearance. But inside, it's like you can compare it what is existing now. It's a building that's built from bricks without concrete, or just lying one on each other. And our stuff is like building that is using bricks and concrete. With concrete, you can build much higher cement. Yeah, you can build much higher buildings, much cheaper, much faster. So, but they could look similar. So that's what we do.
Mm-hmm.
And of course,
that's a very good comparison.
Why we are doing all these conferences? Tomorrow is our next one, so it will be physical and online. And we do is books. We have products. We talk to like many clients. From outside, we may seem disfocused, and sometimes it's really an issue. But we kind of gather all this knowledge, and we have the universe, digitization, cryptography, decentralization, and we fit the puzzles into it. So that's what happens.
Mm-hmm. No, very good, very good. So what are you seeing happening right now? Coronavirus, the Western world is going through some major redistribution of wealth organized by whatever, say politicians or whatever regulators. Yet the crypto space is just like any other, just like other assets, is appreciating. From what I see, lots of outsiders take that, upside in crypto as in natural upside in crypto, as opposed to just like the inflation being built in and protecting against the inflation. And they for whatever reason wake up and say, hey, let's do this, let's do that. So what are you seeing right now? What kind of projects come to you guys lately in the last, say, over the course of the summer, let's say last 3 months? What type of projects? B2B enterprise projects? Is it crypto projects? If crypto, what specialty, what type, what segments?
Yeah, they are different actually. We don't have much similarity still. So with enterprise, it's usually like a startup within an enterprise. They need to build something, and for some reason they want to use blockchain. Or blockchain. I mean, yeah, they have the idea, or they may know that blockchain is something cool, and it will be a bonus. So build with this, but if we have blockchain, it's like a bonus. We'll see. And the second type is just a startup. We used to work more heavily with them in the past, but now kind of trying to reduce the coverage because it's financially painful. Yeah, they often don't pay after you deliver something, and so you don't get all your money.
How does it work? Sorry, so a startup that is like, you're talking about the ICO startup that pay you with the shit coins, or you're talking about?
No. No, we never took any coin as a means of payment.
Very good.
Only cash,
Believers in decentralized taking the USD, hard-earned USD.
No, not just because of that. Obviously, it's risks. You should manage your risks and upside. But I just don't believe in kind of tokens that were on the market. I think they're all scams. So, like, if I advocate that you shouldn't have utility token, then why should I take it as a means of payment? Right? So I was putting my money where my mouth is. So,
and your company's money too, because you have to pay employees. So it's very
anyway.
Exactly.
I'm responsible, so kind of. Yeah, we take Bitcoin. Yeah.
No comment because right. Well, but understood. So, question is this then, right? So, I'm kind of like all over the place. I'll just be like, asking you, some questions. Maybe I'm, hopefully not uncomfortable. Maybe they might seem a little bit uncomfortable. So when it comes down to these projects, right? So we all know 99.9% of these projects are complete shit. They're terrible. There's no architecture. There's no need for these projects, right? So those startups or B2B enterprise will come and say, hey, I want blockchain. A couple of reasons for that. One is they want high valuation, and easier access to investors' money. Because when they say blockchain, investors will immediately say, "Oh, it went up. Bitcoin went up 20,000 times. Let's do this," right? That's most of the times in our practice why they do this. Sometimes they have some kind of idea that there has to be a quick integration of various ERPs from different stakeholders. That's where the supply chain blockchain comes in, and then all kinds of custom solutions come up. But amongst these projects that are on the market right now that say have coins or about to have coins, do you have, and that's a stupid question, but I'll ask it, do you have any projects that you would fully support, that you would actually take coins from if they come to you guys and say, hey, we need to improve this, we need to improve that, including Bitcoin, Ethereum, including everything? So you have the whole universe. You don't have to have the answer because you don't have to watch all 2,000 shitcoins out there. But if you have some preference.
Yeah, I would say I definitely watch privacy coins, just for the sake of technology, because I believe you cannot stop the technology. So that will be whether we want it or not. And I watch Lightning Network for the reason that it's kind of, again, it works like a mesh network. Otherwise, like I see the value in that in certain projects, but what should happen, I mean, in many cases where I see a good project with a native token, I would say at some point somebody else will fork it and remove the token and do an even better project. So just the time hasn't arrived yet. So like Ripple, for example, it's in general it's a good project, but they say, oh, let us print money. And this is kind of, that's where they killed their good idea. So I would answer like that. And actually, I can describe quickly some projects that we work on. We have the private equity.
The better. The more detailed, the better. Like specifically what went into it.
Okay. Mm-hmm. We built private equity marketplaces. Mm-hmm. Some of them are called STO platforms, but it's like a private equity marketplace. We built marketplaces for digital goods. Makes sense as well. Ownership for digital goods, whether it's music or pictures, etc. We built crowd investing platforms for different things, for agriculture projects, real estate projects, the crowd investing. So then we have a voting project for the political party. So you have to count votes in a more or less transparent way. So blockchain helps there. We have the decentralized registry projects. One with regulator for the country, another is for private means, so they can keep their data in a decentralized form. We have the project where we trace COVID certificates. The idea is to protect integrity of data, to protect integrity of history, and to have the authentication of each piece of, each transaction, whatever happens with the certificate. And yeah, we have the project where we manage document workflows. There we have to manage in a cryptographic way the roles and permissions and the state of the document itself. We have a couple of digital banks. We have one DeFi platform, like a big, not the smart contract, but like a full DeFi platform. I guess, I don't know for whom it will be. I don't have this information, but I guess it will be for financial institutions. So they will replicate the existing DeFi principles and build it for that. What else? We have loyalty. We have the e-commerce platform where we want to decouple the purchase from the delivery. So as soon as you purchase something, you can actually transfer to somebody else and delivery will happen after. So it includes some vendors, it includes warehouses in the shop
some kind of supply chain that can be applied to a bunch of different spaces.
Supply chain, because goods are not moving. It's only the ownership is moving. Yeah. So it's like kind of a warehouse receipt. And we had projects connected to like warehouse receipt management systems in the past. And we had supply chain systems in the past too. Yeah, it's on the top of my mind. So we have like a couple of dozens of projects going on.
So completely all over the place, completely like not specific industry, but still which segments. Every single project is like very different from the previous one, but still, what is like? Do you see maybe some specific trends coming up in in 2020, 2021? Like maybe some economic segments, maybe like, or absolutely just completely random.
It's interesting. Like DeFi definitely will do some busts, and who knows what will happen. We've built like 4 exchanges in the past. One is still running. It's the biggest in Ukraine. We built wallets. So, and it will be more exchanges and more wallets, I guess. But it's not interesting for us now. I see the trend is for like data protection, data integrity protection, integrity control, and role management will be like always good until everything is digitized. So, and then the another trend where we are kind of competitive, or very competitive, is like platform building. Exactly why this book it says how to build your own platform. It's not just about blockchain. It's about launching ecosystems. These ecosystems have the core, like the processing center. It could be for money, for stocks, for loyalty, for anything. They have the marketplace. They have the wallets. They have the connections to external world. They have the like dashboards and many auction models, crowd investing, dividend distribution. So this is not blockchain, pure blockchain project, but it uses, it's a thing, it's like, again, a semantic, concrete. Without it, you cannot build a reliable system. And in this job, we don't have many competitors because building platforms is very expensive. It's not delivering a smart contract. It's much.
Website that's how
sometimes a dozen of people at some stages of DevOps, iOS, Android, like front end, back end, some security guys. It's a hard job. It used to be that these projects where they included the marketplace and wallets, etc. I was building them before blockchain. They used to cost like $1 million, $2, $3, $5, $10 million. Now, because of like certain models can be reused, and we've built this body of knowledge and products, we could drop the price to like 100, 2, 3, 500,000 of dollars. So sometimes by an order of magnitude. And this is our specialty. So that's where we go and target such companies and offer them our services, or they come. So it's not just we say blockchain, blockchain. No, I don't sell blockchain. I don't sell token D either. So we sell it, but it's not. We used to market it, but not anymore. It was a kind of very painful, very costly mistake.
No, yeah. So I saw how you were consistently dropping the price of development with token Ds.
Yeah, because
the switch to education, because clients just don't. Yeah, they just don't want to. Yeah. They just want to come and say, "Hey, like I have $5. I want to build it up. Let's go." They don't have anything.
Yeah, not quite, but obviously you still need a big client. But it used to be that you needed 30 people, 30, an architect, 5 backend guys, 10 front end, and now you need 5 to 7, sometimes 2. And this is what simplifies. So it's cheaper, it's faster. So and Token D is not a blockchain platform. It's a kind of a mistake. We also like try to promote it under any name, but it's not. It's a set. It's a it's like a Lego. It's
Building blocks.
modules.
WordPress, building blocks.
Yeah, it's a building block for mobile app. We have a module for mobile app. You can build your mobile app, like we built for the client, like in 10 days with full functionality. Sometimes, yes, when not much changes need to be done. So this is the value. So it's like having a lot of bricks and everything ready to build a house. If you have everything ready plus documentation, you cannot build it fast. If not, you need to build everything from scratch. And now we kind of started work with franchise model. Now we're trying to like clone ourselves. So take some people bring some people on board, teach them, give them knowledge plus components, support them, and they will run their own company.
Mm-hmm.
And just
very interesting approach. Yeah. You started that franchise approach a couple of months ago, right? I saw that post. It was very interesting as well. Yeah, because you're trying to expand out of Ukraine. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Matt, can you please show the slide? Is that possible? Oh, beautiful. Thank you so much, sir. So that's your work, Pavel. That's you. Do you remember this?
Yeah. Just different colors, yeah.
Just different colors. It was you. I think it was like on a piece of paper. I completely forgot how you
many reiterations, yeah.
What changed? So here we have the anonymity of validator on the y-axis. We have trustworthiness of validator on the x-axis. I found this one specifically is especially helpful. Just a great differentiation from different consensus mechanisms. What changed? So you have proof of work, proof of stake, FBA, PBFT.
Nothing really changed. So you still have this. So anonymity, basically when you have very high anonymity, you achieve censorship resistance. And again, you don't need to trust anybody, so trustworthiness is like 0. And when you operate in a universe where you know everybody, so like business environment, so no anonymity, but trust is kind of established by a legal system, then you need to use completely different consensus mechanisms.
Mm-hmm,
so that's basically it. So nothing changed.
Nothing changed. Now looking at this, looking at the bottom right corner, the private permissioned. The PBFT is one of them, multi-signature, right? And clearly Hyperledger and a couple of other players are representing that quadrant. So my personal take on the situation is there have been, kind of public blockchains and all of them. And then IBM decided to take a market share and called it private. Because when it comes down to B2B applications, how would you differentiate yourself? Well, let's create a private blockchain. Let's call it private. Let's brand it as private. And a lot of people who are trying to implement this B2B solution, especially B2B solutions, are always concerned that they won't be able to sell this to their board of directors or to their colleagues or to their superiors, bosses, etc., or to the investors.
Mm-hmm.
If they use the word public. Happens to we see this all the time. It would not be an over-exaggeration that this is pretty much the first question. It takes a lot of energy, effort, and time to educate the client regarding public and private. And slowly but surely, the big 4 companies like Ernst & Young, PwC, all these guys are, also bringing on board some quality consultants to head their blockchain practices, who do realize realize the difference between that, and B, are able to deliver that message to the client, and therefore shape the entire industry. Because, as you said before, right, is the whole industry needs to be re-educated. It's a really, really tough job because you have to do this from scratch. It's a very small industry still. You have to do a ground work up every single time a new client comes in, and that slows down the progress of the space, because the more use cases we have, the better it's going to be. So what is your take on the private permissioned? When is that, when can we use it? And what is your personal opinion regarding this whole, branding of private versus public?
Look, it's like to a certain extent, it's like AC and DC, alternating current and direct current. The Edison versus Tesla, you know, each one is good, but it should be used in different conditions. So I would, when I come to the room and I hear discussion public versus private from where businessmen try to discuss that, it's bullshit. It's like they shouldn't. It's like, again, what is better, AM or FM radio? It depends where you are. So you should start from the question of what we are trying to achieve. Like, what kind of problem are we solving? What we need to build at the end. If then there is a clear vision, it's much easier to find the solution. So right now, it's pointless discussion, public versus private. So again, if you formulate it not as a public versus private, but permissioned or permissionless, it becomes much more clear. Because building permissioned on top of permissionless infrastructure is kind of very strange. Because, yeah, there is a point, the timestamping, but again, the timestamping, trust in Bitcoin, the guys who trust each other will not go and trust Bitcoin just because. You cannot, nobody from business can open their, you know, cryptographic library and verify transactions. They still need to trust some guy to tell them what's in Bitcoin blockchain is true. So it's still a trust between people. So if it's trust between people, you need to use permissioned, and that's it. So much simpler. And if they don't need permission, they need permissionless, then they shouldn't take Hyperledger. They should take whatever is there. So it always depends on the task. And obviously most of the business applications, they need permission because that's how they operate.
Yeah, they still have to.
Yeah. But
they still have to presume the asymmetry of information to some point, and yeah, and restrict access to some piece of data.
There is one argument that says that permissionless it's like internet, permissioned it's like a local network, or something like that. But there are a few variances of this. I wouldn't agree. It's different. It's indeed a local network, but it's your local network, and the protocols that you're using for your local network can be the same as for the internet, and it's perfectly fine. But as soon as you start uploading sensitive information, you never will discuss like business with your client in a public chat that everybody can have access to. No, you do it in a private chat, 2 people. It's the same story. If you operate within certain environment, and a few parties need to be aware of it, you create your own network, you exchange information, maybe you just destroy it or archive. So, but the protocols for the public chat and for the private chat, like even Telegram, are the same. So it's not a question of technology, it's a question of problem. So this is my answer. And yeah, if client says I want permissionless, build me that, I will say okay. As soon as it fits my business schedule and I want to learn the technology. Mm-hmm. But I don't have the. There is no contradiction. That's what the answer is.
Yeah, it's all based on the It's all based on the final goal, whatever the client wants. Yeah, I mean, from our interactions, permission to such a high-level conversation that almost never happens. We unfortunately have to struggle with still private versus public. We still have to, most of the time, persuade or explain to the client, who oftentimes come with a predisposed opinion about what needs to be done. And they often always quote Hyperledger, and they almost always want to build something on Hyperledger for a B2B solution. And our goal is just to explain the pros and cons. I mean, and more often than not, unfortunately, Hyperledger is just not a good solution. But that's, again, it's a good solution, but just not for all the problems. It has its own niche. Each one has its own niche.
Yes, some of our clients come and say, "Oh, we need that on Hyperledger because it's from IBM, and we trust IBM." Yeah, and I said, "Sure." So we have a kind of a token D version on top of Hyperledger.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And what's your view on specific, just kind of of Hyperledger opening up Hyperledger Besu, the Ethereum, pretty much Ethereum client on top of itself? Do you know anything about this, or?
Actually, I haven't heard about that. I know that they are trying to migrate certain things, but yeah, that's kind of...
It's a logical progression of what they should have done, right?
It's hard. Again, it's trying... It's like you have a permissionless network, and then you send a spy to it or whatever. What does it mean? So it's strange. Yeah, but if we talk about the protocol of managing the keys, that makes sense. So because the protocol of managing an account technically should be independent from any implementation, from the consensus point. Doesn't need to know about that. And it's a digital identity. It doesn't, again, matter where it will be stored, unless it's secure. But security will be provided by, most likely, next 50 years, still by people. And until every citizen will understand what is digital key and how cryptography works, and will be able to verify it itself. Until then, it's like people. So, I mean, these words should not be taken out of context because there are many if, but yeah, general idea is like that.
General idea is like that, yes. I fully agree.
So I support all projects. What I don't support is like ICO in terms of issuing utility tokens. I think this is meaningless, and I think this is it's bad for not only for the industry, but even for technology. Because as soon as you have a token in the project, and the project could be fully centralized, look at Binance. It's a fully centralized system. Why does it need a token?
They have 11 nodes, right? I don't know.
It doesn't matter how many nodes. It's one person controls everything. As soon as you have a token, it's you need to find a use for this token. And the best use so far is reducing fees. And reducing fees, meaning the token, means financial, shady operations, because the same stuff is prohibited in the stock market exactly for that point. It creates an incentive for the Ponzi scheme. Nobody forces you to pay with stocks to have a discount. That would create a wrong incentive for everybody. It will create certain positive, effect, but very short term. And yeah, again,
it's good short term for certain, but it's not helping the entire ecosystem, right? So for those people who don't know, BNB, right, the Binance coin is
even in DeFi. Look what happens is that Uniswap saw that SushiSwap is taking their liquidity by giving them on top of the percentage some token. And the seller of the token, the SushiSwap itself, so they cannot assign any price. And it looks like the dividend payout is much higher because of the price of the token. But it's not true. It's a synthetic, synthetic instrument with assigned price that has only one seller. Doesn't have any sustainability. Then Uniswap is doing the same. So the society has seen such things 100 years ago with the rise of the penny stocks and all this thing. So
instruments, yeah, risky finance. No, I mean, very, very good. So I'm assuming you would only take, certain, so you would only pretty much personally, if this opportunity presents itself, not that you're doing it, but if the opportunity presents itself, you would potentially take payment in BTC. What other cryptos or tokens or coins you would potentially consider to be taken
Yeah,
as?
we can take the Tether or Ethereum just because they're very liquid, but we don't hold them. So just. But I don't take tokens as investment, so that's the thing.
That's a very interesting approach, right? Because I mean, our developers think exactly the same, which we cannot say to the business development team, where developers just say, "Guys, it's all great. Yes, we are good developers. Yes, we know how to build stuff, but just give me fucking cash. Don't give me BTC. Don't give me Ether. Do not give me whatever XYZ. Just give me cash." That's the motto that I'm personally saying.
People may take BTC or Tether or Ether for the reason that it's you can easier to transfer somewhere. Cash for they take cash probably because they can spend it, but BTC is much easier to send. So definitely, it's a very good instrument. So.
It's a very good wholesome view you have, sir. Yeah, because I saw a bunch of posts on LinkedIn where you have been not necessarily openly criticizing because you're extremely polite in your posts, but you've been having a very firm view regarding certain projects having absolutely zero need for those native tokens or native coins, and I really respect that.
And it could be great technology. It could
be 100%. But then the token will just mess up with the whole motivation for the founders and for the developers and for the ecosystem and just kill the innovation.
Yeah, one more point is that the token can actually prevent projects from being really decentralized, because what's the point of decentralization if people will not use your token? So people say, no, please be inside. Yeah, be inside our financial ecosystem, and we will motivate you with new issuance, etc. Even Polkadot, like, look, connector of blockchains needs its own token again. So decentralization, I think we should move towards ideal Bitcoin of the new era runs on top of mesh network. Yeah, that's an anonymous. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. Okay, so it's. I mean, I'm just trying to not go much into details, right? Because I think even this discussion might be a little bit in depth, and I just don't see all the comments, so I don't see all the questions. So guys from the blockchain center, if you guys have some questions, please keep them coming, so I can figure out if I need to go a little bit more in detail or a little bit more high level. Now, so what is the ideal utility coin? Like Ethereum, I would argue here that Ethereum probably did a pretty good utility coin here, right? So you have to pay for the gas to transfer, you have to pay the gas to launch smart contracts. Kind of makes sense, and with enough promotion, with lots of promotion, it is a stable number 2 market cap coin at this moment. And I do understand fully that you're pretty much saying market cap or non-market cap, I don't care. It's all about the tech, and you are pro tech, and I really respect that. But at the same time, what could be? You've analyzed 500 plus projects. I'm pretty sure it's more than 500 projects. I'm pretty sure just like not counting, the ideas, more ideas. What are some good ideas for the utility coins from the projects you've seen or from the projects that you have not seen yet?
No, I haven't convinced myself in any case for the utility. Because utility token, how I see it, is a combination of like 3 things at once. It's a security component, like, yeah, some dividend paying, whatever thing, or some way, revenue participation or so. The second is the currency component. And third is the commodity component. If you consider like any game, any online game, it has 2. It has internal gold, which is the currency. It has game objects, which is commodity, and service, maybe some kind of service. It doesn't have stocks, but you could actually convert any online game into full DAO. And this DAO will have not a utility token, meaningless. You'll have three type of tokens. The stock one, it will pay dividends to investors of the game. The internal gold, or whatever currency, which has to be stable. It should not fluctuate. You should not invest into it. Doesn't make sense. And objects, game objects, and that's your possessions. That's what you trade. So that would be the perfect example. But people try to put everything in one utility. They say, oh, it's growing in value, so it's kind of security type. They implicitly say that, oh, you should pay with it, so it's currency, and it gives you the right. It's like a software license, which is the commodity. So they try to combine everything in one instrument, and you should not combine the financial instrument and the currency instrument. That will create again
speculation.
Not speculation. Speculation is fine. It will create a Ponzi scheme eventually, which is not fine. Which is kind of
There is some view regarding Bitcoin specifically regarding this point that I was discussing with the devs. We were of the view that, because the white paper came out in 2009, lots of people marry that fact with the fact that, oh, there was a financial crisis, and kind of, to counteract the financial crisis of 2008, and people lost trust in the government, and, new decentralized money came out, blah, blah. We thought, and we still think, that maybe that was just, as you said, a continuation of game tokens. So, it really worked really well, and somebody just wanted to pretty much, build an app on top of it, on top of the game coins, and just pretty much make them interchangeable with each other. And maybe the initial view was never to assign a dollar value to this. And we believe that, assigning a dollar value to Bitcoin created like lots of rich people. But at the end of the day, you cannot use Bitcoin right now as it was planned to be used. The initial transaction cost was like nothing. Yeah. Now it's like $5, right? $5-10. Even Ether is up $3 right now per transaction. It used to be 10 cents about 2 years ago, a year ago, because of DeFi just went up tremendously.
Yeah, I don't think it's a problem. So people trade whatever. You cannot restrict trade. So as soon as you trade, you assign dollar value or whatever gold value. So it just Bitcoin is pure like currency or commodity that became currency. It maybe not yet became full currency, but it might be. And Ethereum, technically, if it positioned itself as a programmable money, in the beginning they did.
That's exactly what they did.
That was good positioning, because Bitcoin is not fully programmable. But then because of the SEC and all these issues, legal issues, they said it's a smart contract platform. And I would say that the smart contract platform, and especially where they're moving towards POS, it should not have its own token. You could do it without this. Maybe it's not that easy, especially now, but it's possible. And that would, again, make it life much simpler.
Mm-hmm.
That's my kind of view on that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But if you launch like Monero is also a commodity which would become a currency, it's fine. You don't need Monero to do, you're not required. So in Ethereum, if you want to do certain things, you have to pay fees in Ether, and that's the issue. I think in the free internet of value, you should not have one asset that's required you to transact. It doesn't make sense. You should be free to choose. It's obviously the operator of the whatever node of the contract, they should have a payment, but operators should define in which currency they want to be paid. Maybe they want cash, So actually, not a bad idea. I mean, it could be that certain miners would be rather paid in cash than in Ether.
Absolutely.
If they are whatever in Switzerland and they pay taxes, etc., they would rather pay prepayment, and even if it sounds very strange, but it's business. They have nothing. At least like 30% of miners have nothing to do with crypto. They do it because they have the opportunity. They have free electricity, or they have access to equipment or whatever. They don't care about whatever decentralization.
Centralization, of course. They're just making money. They're just making money. That's the good and the bad, right? The genius of behind Bitcoin revolution, and at the same time, raising prices in the coin, and therefore raising fees in the coin, and therefore not usable for the coin.
Yeah.
Lots of other projects that are trying to subsidize that initial mission that cannot be returned back anymore, and now it's just an antique coin that will be worth $1 million at some point of time, just because 99% of people will just lose it, lose keys, lose passwords, and then it'll be like one Bitcoin left. 100 years from now, that will be valued a lot for whatever reason. Good. So you showed the book, the Almanac.
Yep.
Anything else that you're working on that is exciting? I think that's going to be like the final, remark. Like anything that you're working that is exciting, please share. Please, in fine print. Where can we get Almanac, by the way? Is it?
It's the electronic version is Amazon, as all our other books.
Amazing.
The printed version, we have just 5 copies, one of the version 1 and 4 of the version 2. We're still improving them and making them like better. So I guess we'll be doing international delivery. That's it.
And the Almanac just came out recently, because that's the second book. You also had the first book that you translated in other languages, including Arabic, I think.
Arabic, yeah. We have 5 books.
Oh, 5.
5, yeah. 3 of them are blockchain and decentralized systems. They have 3 volumes. We made 1 and 3, yeah, also. Then 1 is financial internet, and 1 is Almanac, so 5. And the blockchain decentralized system is a textbook. It's for students. It's very technical, and we translated, to Arabic. Not us, but our partners from UAE sponsored that and translated. Well,
so, and anything exciting you're working on right now that you can share without the NDAs that every single project asks you to sign?
I would say the most exciting thing that we're working is how to decentralize ourselves. We are trying to build a company which is guided by a few principles of decentralization, and it has no one who can decide and can fail. So we need to build the structure and then clone ourselves. So we are trying to reinvent life, to a certain extent.
So
That's the most exciting project, and it's obviously it should generate cash. So otherwise, it's
cash or BTC. All right. Thank you so much, Pavel. Really, really appreciate your time. As always, amazing insights. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you.
For whatever reason, I'm not seeing too many of the LinkedIn posts from yourself recently. But again, you have a lot more fans than you think you do. I'm one of them for sure. Trust me. I'm just not liking them, but I'm reading them in full all the time, and I'm really, really thankful that yourself, is involved in actually educating. It's not like hype posts. It's actually super great educational posts. So thank you very much for that. Keep it coming. Again. Shout out for Nick Spanos and Anna Ginsburg. So Nick's birthday is today.
Happy birthday.
Stay healthy and strong. Happy birthday. And the Blockchain Center. Let's do this, guys, girls and boys. We have to keep educating and building the ecosystem of the like-minded individuals in the B2B and B2C space. All right. I think this is it. Thank you so much, Pavel. Nice meeting you finally. Yeah.